All right. Welcome to the Too Much Moxie podcast. I am your humble host, Too Much. And with me, y'all see my co-host. He's getting ready, Walt D. We got some bangers for y'all again, man. 3 more reactions. Why y'all hate Kevin Samuels so much? That's what we really talking about. Let's go into the video, give you a prequel, and then we'll get the show started.
A study was done with infants where an obstacle was placed between the infant and the mother. The boy infants would try to knock over, climb, or move the obstacle, and the female infants would cry. So the boys would try to
And single mothers more money not to have a man in the house than to have that married man in the house.
Why do you think they're doing that?
Because they want to exercise power, dominion, control, and punishment.
Yeah,
right?
Because if the man's not controlling that.
You are not putting in the fact that not all men are great men and toxicity and dysfunction.
You pick them.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear how all men are great men. You pick who you let in your body.
All right. We're back. Welcome to the Too Much Moxie podcast. I am your humble host, Too Much. Don't forget to apply pressure to that subscribe button. Y'all know who I'm with today. Y'all see him, Walt D, the host with the most, the guy certified in a lot of things, but that's not important. Walt D. What's up, baby? How you been, brother?
What's good, brother? Another day getting the bag. Another day bringing the youth and the non-educated to another level.
Okay, man. Listen, man. We got some bangers for y'all, man. We're not gonna keep y'all. We're gonna jump right into it. We got 3 videos for you guys, but I just want to know this: why do y'all hate Kevin Samuels so much? Why y'all hate the late great Kevin Samuels, man? That brother was doing God's work. Well, let's get into it, man. We got a video for y'all. We're going to let it play through, and then we're going to come back and commentate. Let's talk about it.
A study was done with infants where an obstacle was placed between the infant and the mother. The boy infants would try to knock over, climb, or move the obstacle, and the female infants would cry. So the boys would try to problem solve, and the girls would just vocalize their distress. We see it in infants, where boys are problem solvers and girls just want to hear, they want to be heard that they are not okay right now. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. If you're on Patreon listening to this, you've heard us say over and over again that if you go to your man with anything, his first instinct is going to try to problem solve. So if you are just venting, it needs to be stated, hey babe, I'm just venting. I'm fucking going through it and I need you to have a bitch sess with me. Not meaning that he's going to sit there and bitch with you, but you can sit there and just bitch all you want and he will listen. And I don't know if you want him to brush your hair or something, say that. But boys are born with the instinct to problem solve to get to where they want to go.
Absolutely 100% facts. I can't say she's lying, Walt. I can't say she's lying. I say it all the time. Men are problem solvers. Women bring problems. Match made in heaven. Women always talking about they want men to be vulnerable. They want men to open up. They want a man to be emotionally available. You know, that's difficult for a man. You know, we don't want to sit there and have a therapy session. We want to get our problem solved so we can move on to the next obstacle, the next challenge. That's what it is for us. How you feel about that, Walt?
Yeah, when I deal with couples, the problem is like it goes back to women always wanting their way and wanting a man just to take it, because a man knows how to open up, but then a woman needs to be able to remember a woman is a man's helpmate, right? So a woman needs to be fair and be able to meet a man halfway. Or if a man wants to problem solve, she should be open to the man problem solving. If a woman wants to vent and the man just sits there and listen, that's fine. But then there has to come a time when a man wants to problem solve and she has to ride with that man and make sure that problem is solved. It goes both ways. The problem is women want it one way. Oh, I just want to vent and talk about this problem and that's it. And I caution women, because if you want to stay in the single, lonely, and bitter squad, just keep on doing that. Because Men, like she said in the video, like, oh, just tell your man that, oh, I just want to vent right now, and that's it, right? But I have a caveat to that. The caveat is the man is only going to sit there and listen to you vent about the same problem, but so many times. If you start venting about the same problem, he's going to get tired of the problem. If you continue to vent about the same problem and don't allow him to solve it, then he's going to get tired of you. So just be careful of that.
You ever hear a woman say, I have a problem with my friend? She's so unbearable. She's the only one in the crew. She wasn't my friend. She's so and so friend, but she's always hanging out with us. And what do guys say when women bring problems like that to him? We say, stop hanging out with her then. If she's so annoying, stop hanging out with her. But you know what they do? They don't say nothing because women are non-confrontational, right? They just ride it out and they passive aggressive way, and they come back and we hear the same problem over and over again. Oh, do you know what such and such did? We don't care. We already gave you a solution. We already gave you a solution. Stop hanging around shit and then move on. But women, a lot of y'all women, y'all love drama. Y'all love drama. Y'all love to be in the thick of things. And sometimes you just need to take a step back. So I agree 100% with what the video was talking about. Men, we're just geared differently. I'm tired of these women wanting vulnerable men. Men don't need to be vulnerable. Not like women. Okay, we're not like you. We're different. We're different. We're men. We're geared to problem solve, not to sit there and cry about the problem. Okay, we're not there to cry so somebody else can come in and solve it for us, and then we're happy again. No, we want to solve the problem. Same thing with anything, man. It's like when you watch kids play at the playground, you watch how the women play and you watch how the boys play. Boys play a game that have a definitive winner, right? Women, y'all play games that nobody wins. Everybody just kumbaya. That's why y'all like playing things like house, right? There's no clear winner in house. You just play house. And then that's why when you women, when you try to play sports like men, play like us, and you guys don't win, you cry. You cry. So it's almost so in order for men to play with women, men have to let the women win. Because if they don't, you cry and the game's over. So very, very well said, Walt D, man. I just wanted to add that on top of that, man. Y'all know what it is, man.
Well,
Men are problem
well
solvers.
said, well said on your part too, because um, like, like you said, they just want to cry, just want somebody to be like, hey, it's gonna be all right, and that's the problem with Simps. And I, I I hate to take it here, but I got to because I'm ordained. I'm a minister, so I have to take it here. That's I'm tired of the women in the church coming in
Uh
church,
oh.
praying about something,
Come on.
falling on the floor about something for the third or fourth Sunday, or if they come to Bible study and church 2 times a week for the third, fourth Sunday in a row about the same problem that God gave them an answer to.
Come on.
I'm I'm pretty much sick of that. And preachers and pastors have allowed it in the church for so long. You don't see guys doing that. That they'll get an answer from God and they'll either not listen to God or they'll listen to God and go forth, right? Women, for some strange reason, they'll get an answer from the preacher. They'll get an answer from their friend who's doing right in life. They'll get an answer from God, and just because they don't like their answer, come to church,
Come on.
cry, fall out, throw their hands in the air. It's like sometimes I just want to say, "Can you guys leave? Can we just in church for today?" Like I'm tired
Come
of
on.
seeing that, but
Come on.
but let me digress.
Exactly, man. That's why exactly at the end of the day, man, let me tell you what it is, man. Men need to teach these women. Okay. We need to inform them. We got to stop letting these pandering pastors just sever the word, man. Destroy it. Chop it up. Make everything into a soundbite, and so people don't get the context. We got to stop that, because I see people all the time trying to turn that Bible into something that they want it to be when that's not what it really means at all. When you get a solution, especially if it comes from God, you got to listen. But God will send you a confirmation, right? He'll send somebody else to tell you. It probably won't be the exact words, but it'll be right along the line that you need to hear. That is the same. It's the same essence, the same feeling, the same spirit, and they'll tell you what it is, and you'll get that confirmation, and you'll look stupid for a minute, but your pride will kick in. Your pride will kick in, and then you're right back at the preacher's door again, complaining that you don't want to do it this way. Listen, just like in anything, you women with proper covering, and you have a man at home that can give you a solution. It may not be what you want to hear, but it's a solution, and you probably need to apply it. If your man says it, you probably need to do it. That's what it boils down to. Let's bring up the next video here. Let's see where we're at here. Let's go.
And single mothers more money not to have a man in the house than to have that married man in the house.
Why do you think they're doing that?
Because they want to exercise power, dominion, control, and punishment.
Yeah,
right?
because if the man's not controlling the house,
Uncle Sam is.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam is,
Yep.
right? So the woman's saying, I'd rather be married to Uncle Sam because he's writing me a bigger check than whatever you are. And so that allows Uncle Sam to exercise more power over the household than the real Sam, who was actually in there, who got booted because the woman had more of an incentive to collect the check from the government than she did from actually being a member of a stable married household. And that's exactly why fatherlessness has gone up dramatically over the last 6 decades, because you get what you actually pay for in this country. Now 25% of kids are born into a household without a father in that house. In a certain sense, it's not surprising. You get what you pay for. That's what we're paying for, and therefore that's what we're getting. We're paying single mothers more money not to have a man.
We got 𝗣𝗲𝗴𝗵𝘁𝘀𝘀𝗶cie talking about single mothers. I think he hit the nail on the coffin, though. I'm gonna let my brother Walt D answer, and I'm gonna come in right after him, man. How you feel about that, brother? I don't see nothing wrong with what that brother said.
Well, there's nothing wrong with what he said, but I think what we need to do is add to it, because it's not just money. You have a lot of educated females that hop on these groups and say, "Well, hey, I'm getting my own bag. I don't rely on the government," and blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. But it's not just money that the government offers to women to not have a man. They offer them education. They offer them legislation. They offer them ways over the law. The- for example, you have college campuses saying, some college campuses in the United States trying to say that a woman can take away consent, can reverse consent later, and that's not even law. But now all these institutions are coming up with these policies to try to override law just for women. It's so incentivized that that women don't even realize how much incentive they have, and it's ridiculous. So I would go beyond money, and it goes back to the emperor's new clothes thing. They say, hey, do this, do that. You look good doing this. You look good not having a man. But then when you go out in public, you look like a fool.
Facts. Absolutely facts. Yeah, man. I hate to come down on single mothers, but let me just premise this. I don't have a problem with widows with children. I don't have a problem necessarily with a divorcee with children, right? But what I do have a problem with is a woman who wrecks her marriage and makes herself a single mother and takes those kids away from that husband, and then turns that man's children against him. I got a problem with that. I do got a problem with single mothers unmarried women who's never been married before getting pregnant, putting a man on child support, living off the system. I met a young woman today. She was pregnant. I asked her how old she was. She said she was 21. I asked her where the father was. She said, oh, he's not in the picture. I said, why not? She said, oh, we met online. We weren't really dating. It wasn't serious. Like, okay, wow, okay. So you met him online and you was just a booty call. She was like, yeah, it wasn't a relationship. We were just having sex. And I met him online. He didn't catfish me. I didn't catfish him. I'm thinking, that's odd. So did you guys use protection? He said, yeah, we started out using protection, but there was that one time, and he told me, he was gonna, but he didn't. And I'm just like, huh? And I just asked her, I said, is this an older man or a man your age? Oh, he's older. He's 32. I said, did this man have kids already? Yeah, he has 2 already. I said, did this man express to you that he wanted more kids? No, he wasn't happy. He said he already had 2. He wanted me to get an abortion, but I thought about it and I couldn't. These women would rather co-parent, sleep around, than get into a committed relationship with a man. They don't care about their children. She was raving on, oh, I got babysitters. I said, well, who's going to help you watch Who's going to help you watch that baby? Oh, I got babysitters, my mom and my grandma. My grandma says she'll babysit for me anytime. And, it was just so beautiful that they didn't shame me. Did you hear that? It was beautiful that the parents and the single mother, because she comes from a single mother home too, you can only tell. The mother and the grandmother did not shame her. And that made her feel like it was okay. And then she told me, even though this man is paying for the heavy stuff, the crib, the car seat, she doesn't even know the man's address. So she told me, oh, don't worry, I'm going to be okay too, because I'm going to take care of my baby. I'm going to get 2 jobs. And I'm going to wait for him to buy all the stuff for the baby first. Then I'm going to take a picture of his license plate, because I know his name. And they should be able to figure out where he lives at from his license plate. And then I'm going to go down to the court and put him on child support. It's a 21-year-old woman who told me this today. The man's doing what he's supposed to do to take care of the baby, make sure that even though he didn't want to have it, he offered her to get an abortion. She opted out. She said, my body, my choice. And then she's like, can't nobody tell me what to do. This is my baby. This is how these women talk. So now, of course, the brother wasn't smart. I blame the brother just as much. But there's 40 different contraceptives out there. You couldn't use one. You couldn't get on the pill. You out there having sex irresponsibly, enjoying hookup culture. Thank God that there's men out there who invented contraceptives for you, so you can go out there and engage in that and not be worried about some of these consequences, even though you still end up being pregnant in the long run, because you're so hot that you don't require a man to wear a condom sometimes. I just think it's sad, Walt. I think it's sad that these women would rather be single mothers than wives. I think it's real sad. Very sad. All right.
Man,
let's get it.
That gave me a headache.
Man, come on.
I can't even.
She was 21. She was a baby.
I'll just say this so I don't bring. Yeah, I'll just say this so I don't bring a lot of heat on your show. because I want to go in, but man, like,
Man, go
let me
in,
not.
brother. Go in, brother. Go in, brother. Please go in.
Yeah. All right. Well, that just gave me a headache. But here's the thing: they want to always talk about the man that's like, "Hey, you're beautiful. Don't do this. Don't don't do that." Think about this logically. They wishing Kevin Samuels was deleted. They got their wish. They take they take shows and podcasts down that's trying to speak wisdom and all this. They have a problem with all of the men. Just think about this. They have a problem with all of the men saying, "Hey, you can do better for yourself. You could choose better for yourself." They have a problem but they don't have a problem with the men that's like, "Okay, yeah, I'll tell you what you want to hear. Let me get my box." And that's it. They have a problem with him afterwards, but they don't have a problem with him initially before the consequences come. And again, and this is the part that I was trying to think about hovering if I wanted to say or not, because I'm whether it's secular or non secular, especially when it comes to the church, you'll have women coming in to therapy sessions, coming into counseling sessions, coming into church, whether it's secular or non secular, with 3 or 4 kids under the age of 30, or like between 25 and 35, 3 or 4 kids, never been married, talking about peace. You see them all on your timeline, all on your social media, talking about peace, prosperity. God's going to bless me. You're never going to see peace. You're never going to see prosperity.
Come on.
God is never going to bless you
Come on.
because you live the entire lifestyle saying "f you" to peace. When when life or God try to send you somebody, whether it was a man or a grandma, a man saying that he loved you, or a brother just saying that you could do better, or grandma saying that you got more potential, or God saying, "Hey, you need to do things like how I wrote." You said "f you" to all that. So now that you have your 3 and 4 kids, you don't just have one. It wasn't just an error or a mistake in life. You have 3 and 4, which means you earned your lifestyle. You earned your misery. You earned your sorrow. You earned it like a paycheck. And you want to sit up here on social media and say that God's going to bless you. You want to say that you got peace and positivity coming to you, that you're transcending and things like that. No, you're not. And if you are transcending, you're transcending from one trash bin to another trash bin. And that's not what God has planned for you. But that's not what a man has planned for you. That's not what your family had planned for you. But you want to sit in here and say, "Oh, it's all right. God will forgive me. It's all right. I'll find a man that will love me." How come you wasn't talking like that before? And you
Come
knew
on.
fully well, even on the first or the second kid, you knew fully well. So you're in a season of a lot of these women are in a season of consequence,
Come
and
on.
we need to avoid women or people in a season of consequence, or we will face the consequences. We need to teach these young men that no, you don't want to date. You don't even want to be within 10 or 20 feet of a woman with kids. Go get
Fact.
your bag. Go do what you need to do as a man. She's going to try to get you, especially the ones that's older than you. She's going to try to get you and be impressionable on you because she knows that you don't know what you're doing yet as a man.
It's my
Let
opinion
her
that
be in
women
her
want that.
misery.
Yeah,
You say what?
it's my opinion that women want inexperienced men now because they want to be like the men and mold these young men. They don't want to be in a submissive relationship. They want to be in a partnership. And they know they can't do that with a man who's wise, a man who's older, a man who's mature, a man who's up on his game, who's an alpha, if you want to use that word, or a man who's about his business. A traditional man, they can't. A man with standards, they don't want that man. They want it. They want the struggle love, and the struggle love is not always about money. I keep saying that. The struggle love is more about suffering through a man's decision making while he becomes a leader, because he hasn't become a leader yet. So this is what these women do.
But that man will never, excuse me, that man will never be a leader, because the modern woman has a problem with male leadership. I get that all the time. Even my colleagues that's counselors get that all the time. Well, I don't necessarily have a problem with him. He's a good man. He's a good leader. But I just disagree with what he's doing. So I had to leave. I disagree with what he's doing. So I had to set his whatever on fire. But I digress. You mean to tell me that God's going to bless a woman like that? You mean to tell me that a woman like that is going to transcend into a higher enlightenment of peace? Get out of here.
Come on. While you out there being a single mother, while you out there making multiple babies out of wedlock, and you're still believing that God's going to send you a soulmate, just stop. Just stop it. Stop thinking like that. Stop believing like that. You're more delusional and crazy than you thought. Okay? You're bat crazy, to be exact. So stop thinking like that, ladies. That's not going to happen. There's no such thing as a soulmate, and God doesn't bless no mess like that. Only consequences is coming your way. Consequences for the decisions that you made. That's it. But let's get on. We're going to move on to the next one. Why y'all hate Kevin Samuels so much? Kevin Samuels, the brother dropped so much jewels, so much game. Let me tell you something. I'm so glad Kevin Samuel was a hard-working man who may not have known that he would be around or maybe he did know, but maybe he knew that he wasn't going to be around. But it seems people like a Tupac Shakur, people like a Kevin Samuels, they know how to collapse time frames and get out their book of their work, right? And they Tupac made so many albums and so many songs that we can never forget that brother. Kevin Samuels put out so much content. For 2-3 years, he gave us the game. He gave us all he can give us. Did he give us enough? I think he did. Did he have more in him? I'm pretty sure he did, because Kevin Samuels was molding and he was changing. I believe Kevin Samuels was going to be a passport bro eventually. I believe he was coming to that, because he was. I remember when I was on his show, and I asked him about Africa, dating women overseas, and he was like, brothers don't got the money to do that. Where are they gonna get the money from? They make $40,000 a year. So he was already on that. We got to deal with the women here, and we got to fix these women. But men have already made their decision, man. We're already saying, hey, man, we're tired of these women. We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to have a conversation about the 4B West movement. I'm still here, the self-proclaimed king of the 4B West movement. Fully support these women out there, okay, that want to go down the route of the 4B West. I think it's wise that you want to keep your legs closed. I think it's wise that you don't want to put yourself in the dating market when you're not ready. I think it's also wise that if you know you're not wife material, that you don't try to get married, right? I believe in that. And then also, if you're not going to get married, you shouldn't be carrying babies. So those 4 things, you don't want babies, you don't want dating, you don't want marriage, you don't want sex. Men are 100% in agreement with the 4B West movement. Now, I do have some problems with it. I'm not going to get into all of it right now, but the leader supposedly is Satanist. But we'll talk about that another time, and we'll do another video. But we want to talk about why y'all hate Kevin Samuels so much. Kevin Samuels gave you the game. Let's watch this clip, and let's get right into it. Kevin Samuels gave you the game. Why you hate Kevin Samuels so much?
You are not putting in the fact that not all men are great men, and toxicity and dysfunction.
You pick them.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear how all men are great men. You pick who you let in your body. And you pick who you make a baby for. So I don't want to hear how bad they are. Because I'm sorry.
No,
I know too many.
So
what's the question? Not all men are great men. I want to talk about the men you women choose. I don't want to talk about anybody else other than men you women choose.
Absolutely. And not everybody ends as they began. That's the field I'm in.
So what's the question? What's the question?
Okay, so my question for you is, how do you add that variable into the advice that you're giving people?
How do I add what variable in? What's the variable?
That you have to have a 2-parent household and be married and for somebody to somebody, and because that's what it should be. That's what you're saying. That should be.
No. Yeah, I don't know what you think you just said, but I need you to ask. You asked me to answer a question. What variable are you asking me to add in?
The variable of toxicity, dysfunction.
Toxicity and dysfunction have no. Oh, look, ma'am.
Okay.
You're talking about the toxicity. You pick. If you don't know how to pick, no, ma'am. Here's how you put that in. Relationships are reflective. If you pick toxic, whatever, then that's on you. It's your responsibility. You deal with the outcome. You don't blame him for being toxic. That's fair. That's what you picked. That's your problem.
That's fair. I agree.
So I'm not going to add in the variable for over people over here. I'm going to say pick better. But see, picking better requires you to have a calibrated picker. Picking better requires you to actually have somebody helping you, guide you, and outside of your own feelings of what you want and subjective truths. Picking better requires picking stuff that's not atavistic, that he's hot, he's got a six-pack, he got a big job. No, he's boring, he got a job in a 401k and potential. See, you ladies, women have known how to pick since the beginning of time. It's just in the last 50 years, you ladies have tried to pick based upon your feelings and what makes you happy, and it doesn't work. You pick the worst and you reproduce with them. See, the problem is not picking the men. The problem is reproducing with them, making children with them, and then throwing this chaos out into the community, and then asking men like myself and everybody else to address it later. Don't have their babies. Have all you want to with toxic men. Don't make babies with them. Pretty simple.
Fair enough.
Especially not 1, 2, or 3 of them outside of marriage.
I appreciate what you do. I think you're great.
Come on. Did Kevin Samuels give her the grain? He said, "We don't care about you sleeping with those men, but why you procreating with them and then pushing them out on the community and expect everybody else to deal with it?" I was just on a TikTok panel. Check out the OD and AK podcast on TikTok. It's the best. If you want to hear men speaking honest and direct to women, go watch that podcast. #1 podcast on TikTok, guaranteed. OD and AK podcast. Check it out. So I'm on the podcast, right? I'm up on the panel. And there's a lady that comes up, right? And she starts just ranting and raving and talking crazy. Okay. I'm trying to think what the lady said. The lady said, what did she say? I'm drawing a blank now. But let me say it like this. Kevin Samuels gave her the game. Great man. Women pick with their emotions. So how are you ever going to pick right if you're picking from your emotions? When your emotions are high, your intelligence is low. Okay, what do I mean when we say you're picking with your emotions? When you see that Birkin bag that you want, that costs like $30,000 or $40,000 or however much it costs, you're not picking with your brain. You're picking with your emotions. You're emotionally attached to that. So now you have to use your logic to back up your emotions. You don't pick men like that. You don't pick men like you pick clothes, like you pick Birkin bag, like you put on makeup, like you pick hair, what hair you want, hairstyle you want. You don't pick men like that. You don't pick based on how you feel, because it changes. And then the problem is you pick on based on your emotions, and then you become emotionally attached to that. And then you want to give birth to that. And that man that you're emotionally attached to because you pick with your emotions, not with your logic, you picked the wrong guy. You missed all the red flags. You were so into him that you were so blinded by him that you were not paying attention to the red flags. Women, you need a man to pick for you. Why? Because we use logic, and then we back our emotions up based on our logic. So we don't have a dog in the fight. So when you bring a man that you say, "Oh, I like him," and all this stuff, we're gonna be like, "Okay, well, we don't know him, we don't like him." So we're gonna be objective. We're gonna be that voice that you need to hear, that voice of reason, because we know men and we know how to spot good men versus bad men. We have the discernment, and we can tell you this person's no good or this person's not. This person's good. So your father, your brother, your uncle. They keep saying men in the neighborhood that you trust. Yeah, somebody needs to calibrate your picker, and somebody needs to be your picker. Somebody needs to choose the man that's best for you because you don't know. You know what you want, but you forget about what you need. You need a leader. You need a leader. I'm not going to take too long. Go ahead, Walter. I'll just kind of chime in after you. But that's kind of where I'm at with it, man. I'm just like, hey, man, you know, you definitely need a man. Kevin Samuels gave you the game. He said you need a man to choose for you because they're not emotionally attached or connected like you are, and they're not going to be blinded. They're going to be able to see clearly what this man is about. Go ahead, Big Wall. Let them know.
All right, so let's address two things. The lady said that there's not enough good men out there, right? And Kevin Samuels said it best. Okay, even though we know that there's a lot of good men out there, they're just not picking them, right? But if you know that there's not a lot of good something out there, if you go to an apple stand or a fruit stand and you see a pile of bad fruit and you're like, wait a minute, there might be some good ones in here. Why pick the one that's bad for you? Like it might look good, it might have certain things that you wanted to have, but what made you pick that up? What made you pick up the one that you knew was not good enough for you or not or bad or whatever? What makes you pick that up? Like you said, they pick with their emotions. Oh, because everybody else is picking this up and eating it, or it's just popular to do it, and and they don't listen to us. And I had a woman, well, pretty much on OD's podcast when I'm in group discussions, the main thing women, especially feminists, say is we don't we shouldn't have to pick men better. Men need to be better when we pick them. But that just defies all logic and reasoning on planet Earth. That's like saying Krispy Kreme and McDonald's need to have health food in there, and you want to change the entire format of Krispy Kreme and McDonald's to fit you. Or that's like trying to go and pick a car and say, you know what? I know this car dealership has a bad reputation of selling lemons, but they sell cars that look so good. I look good riding in these cars. You need to have better cars for me to pick. You're not going to change dealerships. And that's what they're doing. And it just gives me a headache because I'll go back to church again. I hate to keep on doing this on your show, but it'll be the whether secular or non-secular, it'll be the church, it'll be a book club, it'll be somewhere, and I'll be there, and they'll be like, "Oh, Walt, yeah, how you doing, Walt?" And I'll say, "Hey, you find a good man yet?" No, I haven't found a good man. I'll be like, well, we was just at this book club, or we was just at church. What about brother so and so, brother so this? Well, he's a nice guy, but and that goes back to your show, like the nice guy finished last. She does not have a taste or an appetite for the good man. And that's the problem. If you don't have a taste and an appetite for something, your health will always be poor. If you have a physical taste for McDonald's and Krispy Kreme, every week your health will be poor. If you have a mental and spiritual taste for Krispy Kreme and McDonald's men, your mental and spiritual health will always be poor. Your relationship health will always be poor. Don't go blaming that on the health food store. You're letting the food set in the health food store going moldy and rotten, or then when you do buy food from the health food store, you let it sit in your refrigerator and go moldy and rotten. That's the same thing that they're doing with these men. They're leaving the men on the shelf in the health food store and going and playing at McDonald's and Krispy Kreme and complaining about their health. Or when they do bring a man home that's healthy, they'll leave him sitting in the refrigerator on the shelf to get moldy and rotten.
Come on.
While they consume what they shouldn't consume, and they get cancer and all cancer of the relationship, cancer of the mental, cancer of the physical, but that's their fault because of what they choose to consume.
Facts, man. You know, these women are the ones picking struggle love, and they're mad at their men that they haven't arrived, like they're not 25-year-old millionaires. You're calling the man that loves you, that you convinced that you're going to be there for him, and he's investing in you. He may be young, but he decided to not necessarily put his life cycle on pause, but he decided to deal with you while he learns life. And what do? You call him dusty, you call him broke, and he's only 25 years old. Men don't hit their financial stride till around 35, 40 years old. See, you women, you're picking a guy. You're picking wrong. We watch balloon pop dating, and we see women pop their balloon based on someone's dress. You don't even know what that man's about, but you judging him already because he dresses a little hip, a little younger for his age or whatever. What about when we see you, grandma, walking around in a two-piece, showing your belly button, showing your curves? You got three kids. Ain't you supposed to be put some clothes on by now? Ain't you supposed to have learned to put some clothes on, and you out there looking like Sukiana? You know what I'm saying? So we over here, we trying to give you the game, and we're trying to put men up on game, and we're trying to let them know, hey man, listen, leave these women alone. If you don't know about the 4B West movement, Google it. The 4B movement started in South Korea, and now the Western women here are trying to latch onto it. Let them, if they want to join that, let's do that. Get these undesirable women off the, off the dating market. The 4B West women, the women who want to do this, we're 100% in support of you. Please keep your legs closed. We don't want to deal with your babies. We don't want to deal with your toxic femininity, right? We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to approach you by mistake, and you don't like men. We let it be known. Put 4B on your forehead. Put 4B on your profile. Let us know who you are, so we can figure out which women want to be married and which women don't. Hey man, that's all I got for y'all, man. I'm not gonna go too deep into the 4B West. We're gonna do a show on that eventually. Y'all come check us out on TikTok. We're on all platforms: IG, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. Just check us out, man. Too Much Moxie Podcast. Make sure y'all follow my boy 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 on TikTok. We got to get that brother to on live panels, man. So I need y'all to do me a
Yeah,
favor
yeah,
and
yeah.
follow 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 on TikTok. And if y'all follow 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, just go ahead and follow the Too Much Moxie Podcast as well. Go ahead and follow me there. I got some great content up there. And y'all check us out on the ODNAK podcast, man. These brothers are from Africa, but they're well versed. Brother got game for you. And I love it. You'll never hear of a doper podcast on TikTok where men are able to have a voice. That's very important. We speak very direct. It's locker room talk in there. Women come in, men come in there, but it's the same thing. We give it to the men just like we give it to the women. We are after you simps, okay? We want to close all that stuff down. If you're simping, come on up in there, man. We're going to get you right. And if you can't get right, we're going to get you up out of there. That's how it is. Hey, it's been another episode of the Too Much Moxie podcast. I am your humble host, Too Much. And we got Walt D in the house. And guess what, y'all? We all out. Peace.
Yeah, I feel like I joined